Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
Come on! Come on, motherfuckers! Come on! Wow! They swept the Cardinals. They're going to the NLDS. Bryce Harper hits a home run. Aaron Nola, in what world? He was dominant. Okay? Dominant. Paul Goldschmidt sucks. Nolan Arenado can't do a damn thing. And this team has Kyle Schwarber dancing like an absolute moron in a hysterical way. My leader! Ho-ho-ho! If you didn't see his moves, damn it, you go check out those moves that he's doing in that locker room with all the champagne flying. Alec Boehm, with those defensive plays over at third base, okay, he robs Nolan Arenado. The odds, if there was ever to be odds on who was going to be the better third baseman in this series, that probably would have been set to -6 billion Nolan. Okay? But he was outrageous. He even doubles, gets on second base. The Phils get a little sexy sac fly from their leader, Kyle Schwarber. How did they pull this off going to the pen? All right, I mentioned Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado, but in greasy situations, you got to bear down. And guys do it. Zach Eflin. Like, Seranthony Dominguez has been bad, but somehow, and he did get some luck because I think Goldschmidt is so damn lost, and he has no idea what he's doing at the plate. And when it gets to a full count, he goes fishing with something in the dirt. But still, I mean, hey, that's part of the damn game, baby. Eflin has never been a closer, yet you're telling me, with this franchise on the line right now, the Cardinals with their Hall of Famers, right? I mean, they have the last chance to do it, and here's Zach Eflin, who gets himself a big opportunity and executes. Zach Eflin! Zach Eflin! How in the world is he the one? It doesn't even make any damn sense, but I'm here for it, baby. This team has no idea what to expect when a full CBP of Phillies fans are going nuts. Like, there's a reason why it was all quiet all year long. Because no one really connected with them. Yet we're seeing Alec Boehm shirtless, pouring beer everywhere. Right? It was the Miller Lite in the beginning, in the first round. Now he's shirtless. Garrett Stubbs is the party animal, the frat boy that probably gets in trouble every damn night for getting shit-faced, but he's going nuts. We are so supportive of this group because of what they did and the effort they showed. Like, they have no idea. They have no idea. They've seen some Mets-Phillies games where a majority of the fans are Mets fans. It's going to be insane. And I know that I have to find my way to get down there because I can't miss it for the ride. I was crying. I'm sitting here in my basement by myself, 1 a.m. Saturday night. The wife went to sleep with the dogs, so it's me alone. And I'm sitting here with tears running down my face watching Edmundo Sosa catch the last ball in foul territory. You're damn right. I forget what this is like. I mean, baseball has been so dreadful. And they didn't give it to us all year long, but they're giving it to us when it matters most. And that's why someone like Boehm, who I've been very critical of, I got to give him credit here, okay? This is when it matters. This is when you have to show up. And I thought he did a phenomenal job in both of these games. Even that first one that he robbed today over by the third base side. It wasn't very easy. It was roped. That thing was crushed. Took a step to his right. Perfect. And then the one to Arenado, or the one Arenado launched off the barrel of the bat. I mean, Michael Kay couldn't even believe it. All around, what a great team effort. Your leader gives you the big splash early. And I knew that would be hard for the Cardinals. What I mentioned was if it was a tie game, it's tough because, well, your sphincters get tight. You get nervous. All the pressure is on you. You can't lose to this wild card team when you won your division, when you're in your own ballpark. So if it was a game that would be a grindy game between both pitchers, you would think eventually, it would just get so intense and so hostile on themselves that the Phillies could squeeze by. I didn't even really bring up the fact that if the Phillies punch first and land early, and now they have to fight from behind, the sphincter gets tight even sooner. And it was Bryce to do it. Now, I'm mad at Bryce for his very aggressive run to second base that got him in trouble. And I know that the replay showed something perfect, which was him getting in there. Right? I mean, it was clear as day. It was so obvious. He was safe 1,000%. 1,000 out of 1,000 times, Bryce Harper was safe. But I still think it's stupid base running. I still think it's bad baseball. I think it's a horrible way to go about business. You have to pick and choose when you're aggressive. It's all about time. And if you had first and third with JT over at third base, that's way more important at that time. There were some tough things to see out there. When you bunt over, was that Marsh after he doubled? Gene Segura bunts. And now you have two lefties going up against Montgomery and Bryson Stott, who had arguably his worst at-bat of the day in that sequence. And then Schwartz. Now, look, Rob Thompson is someone that the guys relate to. And I think part of the reasons why they love this guy is because sometimes he's willing to go unorthodox, or sometimes he's willing to just go about business with his gut feel and what he's thinking in the moment. And when you do that, it's like, hey, I'm going to rely on Stott and Schwarber. Schwarber's our ultimate leader. And then with Stott, it's like, here's a young kid with the big moment. I want to give him that chance. But, you would think Gene Segura with the man on second base, and I'm always anti-bunt. You know that. I'm not the biggest pro-bunt guy in the world. But when you're up to, at that point, trying to look for that extra run, could you make the argument? That's what some are saying. I definitely don't prefer it, especially knowing with Montgomery on the mound. I just don't think matchup-wise you are necessarily setting your team up for success. I'm sweating, by the way. I'm full-on sweating because I'm pouring it all out right now. The headset's not sticking to my head properly, so you're going to have to bear with me because this is a feeling that I don't remember what this is like. Okay, this is unreal. This is phenomenal. This is crazy. I'm loving every moment of it. And I just never thought we'd be here. When you lose and lose and lose in September, and that's all we are accustomed to, and then you get swept by the Cubs, damn it, I'm going to be pissed, and I'm going to let you know that I think you guys are failing. And then all of a sudden, when Kyle Schwarber says, follow me, as he hits a leadoff homer against the Nationals after they got embarrassed on Saturday afternoon, and I'm dating back to the regular season, and then he does it again in Houston, setting the tone. They're leading. And then Bryce Harper. I am very, very, very mad at him for that stupid base running mistake. And then, of course, you have that weird decision to get caught in a rundown with Alec Boehm. And JT Real Mucho, I guess, thought that he was still going to go to second base. He froze for a couple seconds. Would it have worked if he just went at the blink of an eye and went instantly as soon as it, kind of started to transpire? Maybe you could make the argument he would have been safe. But, you just think, all right, well, it's only a couple run lead, and they keep making these mistakes, and they get someone over at third, and they can't cash in. And are you giving the Cardinals just enough energy to maybe sneak a little bit of momentum and push back? But every time a new bullpen player came in, by the way, you can hear my voice going up and down. I mean, I'm telling you, I went bonkers. I was going berserk. But it's not sexy with the bullpen, but it's effective. I kind of thought Alvarado's usage would be what it is. I mean, I heard, oh, wow, Rob Thompson's an idiot. Why is he taking Nola out with Yadier up? I got no issue with it. He was at 101 pitches. He did his job, and he looked so good. So good. Good for Aaron Nola. There was a point in time in this game where I thought I was watching my son. I was the proud father who was in the stands, made the trip to St. Louis. I wouldn't miss this for the world. My kid, who I watched grow up in front of our eyes, I watched blossom. And here he is. He finally gets the ball, and he can help send this team to go play the Atlanta Braves in the NLDS. And I'm watching my son. That's what it felt like. I'm watching my son, my kid. Wow. Has he shut everybody up? Now nobody's afraid of when Aaron Nola is in a big moment. Him and Zach Wheeler. See, before this series began, I was asking, how are they going to win? What do they need to do to secure a W and advance? And I said, well, they're inconsistent. When they play well, it's good. I just don't know if it's going to be a sloppy defensive effort, if it's going to be an ugly offensive game. Are they going to be able to score enough runs? Will they still struggle with runners in scoring position? And at times, some of that did show its ugly head. But if you wanted to convince me that you have a phenomenal chance because of your two starters, well, of course. That's why with the 3-game series, you feel significantly better about that than, let's say, a 7-gamer. If you have to stretch out your starting rotation and look for more bodies, it makes you more uncomfortable. But because of the stellar pieces that you can use in a 3-gamer, Zach Wheeler can will you to victory. Aaron Nola can do it. And then at that point, you have to makeshift your bullpen. You have to, get a little cute. You have to call on some names that aren't necessarily accustomed to certain spots. Here comes Zach after throwing 20-plus pitches yesterday. We need you at the back end. It's so damn difficult to be a closer in this league. It's not easy, especially when you're a starter who gets hurt, but the team is desperate and they need you. So you had Sir Anthony and David Robertson, two guys who we didn't really love because of how bad it's been, and both of those guys succeeded. That's what you would need to do. Whew. And now you have Wheeler. Because they won this game and it's in 2 instead of 3 with the full-on series, this sets things up for Atlanta. Wheeler can go game 2. Nola could go game 3 when you think of the rest days, because now you're off Sunday. It gives you a breather. It's significant. Ranger Suarez for game 1. And I feel damn good in any baseball game. I don't give a damn who you're playing, even if it's the Dodgers. I'm just saying, no matter what team it is, if it's Wheeler and Nola throwing this way, both of them, never been here before. What would we get? I didn't expect them to fail. I expected them to be sharp because Zach Wheeler has been nothing short of that since he's been in a Phillies uniform. But to actually see it and to actually witness it and to actually embrace it, I love the fact that Nola, when he was given a 1-0 lead, what do you see the next inning? No garbage. No, it's close. Nothing like that. 1, 2, 3 inning. You ever hear of it? 1, 2, 3. Get out of here. See, that's when a team can sense a bit of life. A couple guys get on. Maybe it's first and third, one out. It's a ground out. Maybe there's no outs. Man on first and third, you get the double play ball. So it's like, okay, fine. They tied the game up, but we got the double play. Let's hit the reset button. That type of stuff happens all the time. But nope. And this is after a leadoff double. I thought the sickest pitch of the night, and there were some really good curveballs that were dancing big time. But I think the best pitch of the night was actually early in the game when he allowed that leadoff double, and he gets Albert Pujols with that changeup down inside, and you get a swing and a miss. Come on, he's just pulling the changeup out of his ass right there, nice and early. That was great. But look at it this way, too. With the Cardinals, they pissed game 1 away, and their stars were no-shows. Striking out. Goldschmidt, you talk about an NL MVP type of season throughout the regular season. He looked like Odubel Herrera at the plate. He looked like Michael Franco at the dish. He's staring at pitches going right by him. Strike 3 called. On the bottom half of the plate, right at his knees, nothing. Bat still sitting on his shoulders. He had no business up there. I don't know if the moment got too big, if they got all nervous because of the storylines. Could this be the last game? Can this be the last series for, the big dogs in their organization? I have no idea. But damn it, this is awesome. Damn it, this is great. And we get more baseball. I mean, the season could have been over. I got to wipe my face, people. No, it doesn't help that my office, 1, I'm wearing a hoodie like an idiot. 2, my office has the heat pumping way too much. Way too much. But I'm going to grind through this thing. Just like I'm the Phils. Worth every single second of it. 6 2/3, 4 hits, 1 walk batter, 0 earned runs. challenged Nolan Arenado with some high cheese, swinging through it. Can't catch up to it. I'm watching him pump 95, which isn't really anything crazy, but for me it is with Aaron Nola. I mean, there's something about it when I see Aaron Nola pumping 95, that's the equivalent of Zach Wheeler giving you 99. It doesn't hit the same way, but I have to adjust accordingly on my scale because of, well, what's in their repertoire. But I'm telling you, that off-speed and the breaking pitches, they were going all over the place. Starting at one part of the plate, now it's ending, on the inside part of the plate, left-handed hitters fold. Couple little spots where the Cardinals worked some runners on, but the Phillies always had the answer, always had the response. So, fantastic starting pitching, good enough bullpen play, and the defense outperformed the Cardinals' defense, and you found yourself winning the series in 2, and here you go. I just didn't think we'd be here. If I'm being completely honest, I did not expect this to be the circumstances. It's a great feeling, fellas. It's a great, great feeling. All right, we're going to take some anytime hotline calls. That's what we're going to do. Here we go.
Bro, let's fucking go. Dude, first of all, shout out to fucking Aaron Nola. The narrative that he couldn't pitch in big games has officially been debunked. That motherfucker pitched a freaking gem. And shout out to the MV3, Bryce Harper, leading us off with that solo home run to set the tone of the game. Dude, that's why we pay the man. And shout out, this is what no one's talking about. Shout out to Alec Bohm. That dude made some fucking plays at third base. And you know what? I am so goddamn excited to face the Braves, and I am so goddamn excited for the Eagles to potentially pull the Cardinals feud tomorrow. I'm about to go home, chug a Miller Lite or two, smoke a post-series victory bowl. Let's fucking go Phillies, dude.
Now that sounds like a phenomenal night at the office, baby. Yeah, I mean, there's so much to unpack there with the Eagles. It's almost as if I forgot they even have a game tomorrow. When was the last time that baseball in the fall was going to take over the Eagles? It has been seriously too damn long. Way too long. It's like, who's even talking about the Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals? That is nobody. We're all fevered up with this cold-ass baseball, and that's the way that it should be. And it's funny you bring up Alec Bohm, because before the series began, we were wondering who was going to be the MVP of the series. When it's all said and done, whether it was a win or a loss, who would we look at and say, you answered for us, you gave us everything, and you helped lead this team? Maybe they fell short because of other areas, but when I study you and your play, I am so damn proud for how you left it out there. And my answer, I know it's pretty easy and a simple one, but I thought it would be Kyle Schwarber. Now, there were a bunch of other answers, right? You have your JT Realmutos. Rhys Hoskins hasn't been the greatest at the plate, so some would think maybe he would kind of get back into a groove, because when he does go south for a little bit of time, he eventually does respond with something that's awesome, and especially with Quintana on the bump in Game 1, you would think that he could take advantage of that as a right-handed bat. Didn't necessarily play out that way, but something that you kind of look at as a potential. I didn't know if it would be Bohm, although just because of a right-handed bat, maybe you think it could have been anybody. Gene Segura, JT, Nick Castellanos getting out of his funk just because of the Game 1 matchup. But, man, Alec Bohm has been awesome. And you'll win me over. I mean, I'm watching the kid now. You win me over when you do it when the lights shine this bright, when it is the biggest stage and you are a young dude. And, I mean, come on. You can see the difference on where he is there, even though it's not exactly what I want. And there were probably a bunch of times, specifically against that Washington Nationals team, when they got blown out in that Game 1 of the doubleheader, and he's not fielding the ground ball properly. I'm like, come on, dude, he's just not a real third baseman. And I still have my concerns, but there's clearly been a huge, monstrous jump from how he plays the position now compared to, not only last year and him having to remember he had to get sent down at one point and kind of recalibrate everything. And it's a tough task. But once again, I brought this up yesterday. Stott had to do that in the beginning of the season. It benefited him. Jose Alvarado had to do that at the beginning of the season, or, as the season kind of went along, and it recalibrated him. Alec Boehm is another example. There's just systemic issues that we have focused on for so long, and I know that's more of a bigger picture conversation to bring up, but that describes how Dave Dombrowski and Mattingly and all these other pieces surrounding, what this franchise is made up of. It's changing the culture, and it's becoming winning culture because of those type of things. And Alec Boehm has clearly won the MVP, now that it's all said and done, of this wild card series. I mean, if you want to make the argument starting pitching did as a duo, okay, I won't argue there. But as your everyday players, Alec Boehm defensively, it was great. Even Alec Boehm offensively, it was great. Am I even going to have a voice for tomorrow? I have no idea. I didn't expect to lose it this way. I'm giving you my all. I'm a little nicked up, a little banged up. Let's take the next call.
Holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck. Yes! Yes! Oh, my heart's still pounding in my chest. Oh, Nola. Mwah. Beautiful. And I'm just in awe. I can't believe we're moving on. But great game, Eflon. Great closeout. Hoskins and Castellanos, get your head out of your ass and start getting some goddamn hits for us.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, look, there's some things that definitely argue and nitpick and whatnot, and, okay, what needs to change if you want to beat the Braves, but I just don't know if today's the day to start shredding some people more intensely. I don't want to say that was insanely intensely. I'm just, today's just the day of enjoyment. We'll have a couple days to hit the reset button and kind of process what you would need to do and what needs to happen if you think you have a better chance of beating a team that is always here this time of the year, coming off of knowing how to actually win the damn prize and all that. And these teams are very familiar with one another, so that's going to be very appealing. Like, you get accustomed to seeing some guys, and you see guys a lot more when they're constantly, playing your division and all. So I can't wait for all that. But today is just a day of enjoyment. I love what Bryce Harper did. I love how this team kind of they went in there and they showed a whole new side of them. I think what they did to this fan base who questioned who they were and were not willing to spend money to go to that ballpark all year long, they said, like, hold on a second. We're going to prove to you something that you guessed in us. Like, you guessed we didn't have it, all right? They went into a really tough environment. And some hard I thought, when you talk about Eflin, I thought the move might have been David Robertson, because if you look back to the win on Friday night in Game 1, Zach Eflin threw, but this is Rob Thompson. I mean, this is what Rob Thompson does. Zach Eflin threw 22 pitches in his one inning. David Robertson went one inning, had 2 strikeouts, and he threw 15 pitches. Now, his workload, when it does get a little hefty, and he does throw those 40 pitches back-to-back days, you remember that throughout the regular season, things kind of did fall apart. So I wonder, because of his age and because of how much miles he has on the tires, is it something that they're trying to limit him? Let's not go to him twice. Let's try and let him breathe. He can get a couple days off, and then we'll focus on Game 1 and have him fresh and ready to go if need be in that first game against Atlanta on the road. I just thought that maybe because also that it is not something that is normal. I mean, to be in a tough environment, and Zach Eflin says, if we win this game, we're going to the NLDS. Here's the ball, Zach Eflin. At least David Robertson has more knowledge of what that is like. Now, Zach Eflin was able to find a way, and that is perfectly phenomenal, and that's great by me. I'm not going to complain. He did what he needed to do, but I'm just saying, before you see the moves made by Rob, I just wondered, especially once you went to Sir Anthony, I'm going, okay, so since you went to Sir Anthony, maybe that means Robertson was going to be used for later. But the buttons pushed definitely worked out. And that's all I care about. I don't care how. At this point of the season, I don't care if they loaded up the bases with no outs, and then they really made you scared, and they made you nervous, and somehow they get out of it by striking one out and then a double play. I don't care. I don't care if it's that. I don't care if it's a clean inning. I don't care. Win the damn baseball game, because as soon as the new series begins, it's a total reset. And I kind of figured that this Cardinals team wouldn't have the answer. Now, the Mets responded. But just by looking at them, I saw some looks in the dugout. You can read body language. You could see a team that kind of sees the future. They can see the vision. They go, uh-oh, this looks tough. I don't know how we're going to do it. How are we going to hit Aaron Nola? How are we going to find a way? It seemed like they didn't have those killer eyes. You could tell sometimes. Let's say a team is down 2-0. And you can read them. They show shots of the dugout. Guys are communicating. Guys are engaged. When they showed shots of the Cardinals, I'm watching guys slumped over, leaned over. They kind of had their elbows leaning on their knees and their hands over their head. Kind of like they could smell that defeat was only a little bit of time away. There was a couple more minutes until it was all she wrote. And then eventually, of course, it was all she wrote. Take another one.
Broads, the Phillies are coming to the ATL. Who'd have thunk it? But hey, how exciting is this going to be? Big shout out to Robertson and Sir Anthony for consecutive 8th innings coming through like they did when everybody was doubting them. Just shows the resiliency of this club. Looking forward to seeing what they can put up and show for us down here in Georgia. Tonight is a night of just celebration, just looking at the good things. We'll worry about the other things a little bit later, but just an exciting time. Can't wait for them to get started.
Yeah, me neither, man. I can't either. And, yeah, I mean, I think you're right in this regard to see how they match up against Atlanta. All I asked for them before this St. Louis series began was don't roll over and die, right? Don't backpedal your way into the postseason because that's what they did and then just completely collapse, similar to what the Eagles did last year. Okay, it was cute. You beat all the bad teams with the bad quarterbacks, which was out of their control, and I gave them credit for, at least they won. The alternative is them losing. But once you get there, the big boys show up and you get embarrassed by Tom Brady, and you're not even in the dogfight. Don't do that with me, all right? I want to see the first-year players kind of show us something that we could hold our hat on. We don't want the offseason to be Bryce Harper struck out 75 times. Nick Castellanos still looks bad. Aaron Nola fell apart. Zach Wheeler underperformed. This is what we cannot have happen. We need to see something that we can improve with and go, I love that. This is somewhat of setting a mold. This is something that we can say, all right, look what they did last year. Just wait for next year since Dave Dombrowski is now going to push certain moves in the offseason to bring in and acquire some top-tier talent to add to what they did this season in the postseason. Like, this is what it's all about. You got to give us substance to keep us engaged and to have that much more excitement into whatever's going to occur when the winter meetings happen. And they've already did that. But they do a damn good job against the Braves normally. I don't expect them to roll over and die because, well, they kind of show that they could fight against this team. I don't know against the Mets. Not that the Mets are good, and the Mets are very fragile right now, and so are their fan base. I'm just saying, if you were to see the Mets in the second round, well, you got your asses kicked every single series. The Phillies ended up splitting that 4-game homestand against the Braves after they got swept in Atlanta. And it was about, a 500 record before those last 7 games. So that was going to tell us how they are, and it ended up being what it is. But I got more faith in their confidence level seeing this team. I don't think they're going to back down and play scared, especially now that they're feeling themselves, getting some rhythm, some momentum. I prefer having the rest like Atlanta did. I'd prefer not playing in a series. But I'm just saying there's something to be said about momentum carrying, and I expect them to because I know that they feel a certain type of way about how they can compete against the Atlanta Braves. But that's probably more for another day. This is where I'm at now, man. It's great. We have a couple of days to talk about this still before we ever get the next series kicked off. We also have an Eagles game thrown in there, so going to be a lot of fun over this next week. I can't wait to share the thoughts and emotions with you. Thank you all so much. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.